So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about, I think I said, building your business, speeding up your business. I'm going to call them speed levers. And so here's the game plan. I want you to think about what we're going to do. What if you try something new, right? Worst case, right? What if it fails? Well, at least you try, right? At least you try. But what if there's success? And the best way to do it is to test, to do these little things I'll be pointing out and actually test them, right? Actually test them. So let's have some fun with this. I'm trying to set the camera. My settings got messed up. And yes, I'm wearing shorts because I live in Florida. Welcome to Florida, ladies and gentlemen. So I call these speed levers, right? And at the very end, I'm going to do a technique. And we'll see when we get there. So when you think about building your business, there's a lot of things that we talk about or that we do that we begin to take for granted. I am guilty of this 100%, right? And I'll use real numbers. You can't go more than 100%. I hate when people go, you got to give 1,000%. And technically, I think that's impossible. So 100%, but I'm guilty of it, right? A few of us were talking a couple weeks ago at Hypno Thoughts about that kind of phenomenon, where we teach it, but we forget to do it, right? It's like, well, are you doing your posts? And there was a few of us making little videos and stuff at the conference, doing the things that we would teach people to do, but then you kind of get caught up in other things and you don't do it. And this is true for me. That's one of the great things about teaching this stuff is it gets you out of that paradox of knowledge, because as you begin to think about teaching it to other people, you got to remind yourself, am I doing what I'm teaching, right? Am I doing what I'm teaching? So the first thing, if you're going to try this, right, the first thing is, and you hear this a lot, but it's true. You need to develop, what is your action plan for your business? What's your action plan for your business? But I always believe, at least the person I like the most that I took classes with, says keep it simple, right? Like if you're going to do a daily action plan, which is what we're talking about, put 2 or 3 things on, three or 4 things. Don't put 20. So yes, you got a lot to do in your life, right? But what are 3 or 4 things that you could do toward your business every day, right? And you should put at least one slam dunk in there that you're going to do. So I guess the term to use, which is the most accurate, if you got up and you got your plan going and then life gets in the way, or as I would say, the shit hits the fan and you're just trying to fight the alligators in the swamp, all these things going on, putting out fires, you don't get to your action plan that day. It's like, sometimes that's going to happen. But if you have one slam dunk that you're going to do it, then at least at the end of the day, at least you accomplished 25% of your action plan if you had 4 items on there, right? It's kind of like I always say, when people make a gratitude list. I don't know if it's Brock Proctor, one of those guys, maybe whoever it was, keep your gratitude list short, because you could go on and on and on. But, it's like, then it becomes a god-awful ordeal to write out your gratitude list. I'm grateful for the sunshine and the air and the flowers and the gay whales or whatever the hell is out there, right? Tough crowd. I'm here till Friday. Tell your friends. But yeah, so put it, get your action plan, put 3 or 4 things on there. Now, remember, as you begin to do this or begin to redo it, in my case, don't judge, and I like saying this, don't judge your start or your restart by someone that does this consistently, because you need to look at how were they when they started. If you want to become an internet marketer, if you want to get into the internet marketing world, right, and you're just getting started, you probably, sorry about that. You probably don't want to, sorry about that. You probably don't want to judge your start by, a Dan Candell or a Jason Linett or a Tillman Knutson. These guys they're, especially when you get into Tillman Knutson, he was in internet marketing when it first got started, right? So this guy, those of you that don't know him, he does this every few years. He goes quiet and then he starts up again. You'll probably get on one of his mailing lists because he knows how to dig up a mailing list, and then he'll burn through it, right? But he's good at it. This is what he do. So if I'm restarting, if I'm judging myself by these guys or girls, there's some Victoria Gallagher would be another good example, right? It's like you're beating yourself up and you're going to fail. You know, you're going to start if you're never acted before and you're going to start taking acting. Don't judge yourself by somebody that's been acting consistently for 20 years on the stage or screen. You know, it's like, but we do that. We, you know, and if you can, think about how these people started, you know, and I forget who I was listening to talk. I think it was Victoria Gallagher, you know, when she first started her internet marketing, doing that side of her business, you know, it was hit or miss. It was this or that. And of course, now she's been doing it consistently for 5 years. And she knows how to farm out things very efficiently to get the things done. So anyway, what is your action plan, right? And get started. And then look at some of the people that you could model, but don't, you know, put those things on there, right? And so develop that action plan. We're going to come back to this when we do the technique. What are those 3 or 4 things that you can do, right? Including one of the things you have to do is let people know what you're doing. I'm guilty of this. Like, let people know what you're doing. Post it on there. Are you accepting new coaching clients, or are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you, you know, it's a way to prospect, but if people don't know what you're doing, they're going to assume you're not doing whatever it is they want, right? Oh, I didn't know you were seeing it. I just had somebody reach out to me. I didn't know if you'd still, you know, coach a private client. You know, of course, my response is for the right amount, I'm open for just about anything. But yes, you know, but I haven't mentioned it. I haven't talked about it. So then people assume you're off doing other things or things like that. So you want to begin to develop these skills, right? Let people know what you're doing. Present your ideas, you know, and we're in a current interesting world time. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Am I forgetting any? Those are the big ones, I think, right? So anyway, but we have all these different modalities to reach people, and each one has their own demographic, you know, and looking back into it and talking to people that do this. This will take a lot of your time figuring out how you're going to post, where you're going to post, and, you know, to which market and how to do it and what's the most effective, right? So yeah, so, you know, do your prospecting, and a lot of it, if you're going to develop an online thing, do it online. Kind of makes sense. Someone sent me I did an interview with Victoria Gallagher in I think it was the summer of 2019. And I predicted that within 5 years, 80% of the therapists will be working exclusively online. So that was before COVID hit, you know, so actually it sped up quite a bit, right? I know some people are going back to the brick and mortar, but still it's going to be online as in big part of our business, right? So use it, you know, let people know this is what you do. People are getting comfortable with it. So present your ideas online, right? And figure out who's doing it effectively. And the best way to do that, it's kind of like when I taught hypnotic writing, when you see an ad you like, model it, right? Take it out, look at what got your attention, right? And what was working in it, you know, and then model it, use it, right? And then if you took the hypnotic writing class, then you know how to go in and NLP it up, hypnotic write it up, add the magic words and the things that we know how to do, that when you take a really good ad that's just pretty much written, you know, features, benefits, the good stuff, but if it gets your attention, and then you throw in magic words, the stuff we teach in hypnotic writing, then those ads really pop, right? And again, when you look at the people that are doing really well on the internet, when you look at their ads, they pepper their ads with those language. So let people know what you're doing in a venue that will approach your clientele, your warm market, which is usually online, and then it can ripple out from there. Let people know, and then make sure that you let people know that you would like them to share your message. You know, if you like this, click, you know, they say click like and share, but yeah, it's still, you know, leave a comment, share it. I'm asking my inner circle group people to begin to do that with each other, right? Because that's how you make stuff go viral, right? You can have a beautiful post and everybody likes it, but if nobody shares it, well, it's only going to go so far. But if Bruce, I think the magic number used to be 20. If you got 20 comments, I forget how many likes and so many shares, Facebook will put that in their algorithm, so they'll share it to other people, because you know they know us inside and out, right? Bruce and I have been talking about a couple things, and he did some research, and suddenly, you know, Facebook thinks he's fat, drunk, and stupid. You know, because we were talking about weight loss, addictions, and a few other things. So you know, if you ever done a search, then suddenly it's in your Facebook feed, right? They track this stuff, right? Can't get away from it. So, and then make sure you invite the people to some kind of interaction, you know, because remember, whenever anybody's looking at your stuff, they have a couple basic questions. First is, does it work? Right? Because, you know, and then the second question right after that, yeah, okay, you can say it works, but will it work for me? And always remember, and then the last, I guess there's 3 questions. Does it work? Will it work for me? And can I do it? You know, and best way, like we teach in hypnotic writing, is, you know, you might be asking yourself, does this really work? Well, here's 6 clients that it worked for, you know, but you may even wonder, will it work for you? It's worked for people just like you. That one sentence will just eradicate out a lot of their objections, you know, and yes, you can do it. Right? And you just put it in, because they're thinking it. And if you put it in if you're doing a talk, you put it in there, it's going to get a deep level of rapport, and add that. And always remember, people want magic and they'll spend money. I don't want to make fun of stuff, but boy, I'm seeing because I'm on a couple of groups, you know, like Athlete X, which is the science behind exercise, all that kind of stuff. But now I get overwhelmed in my Facebook feed about exercise programs. And a lot of them are like, you can look like this. And it's some real buff guy just going to the gym once a week. And, you know, and I would like to believe that. I really would like to believe that. I don't believe that deep in my heart. Maybe that's my own limiting belief, you know, but I've known a couple of those guys that put that stuff out there and said they'll say all that, and then they're living in the gym, right? To look that way, you know, and including, what is it? My wife, like the guy that plays Thor, he's pushing some exercise program. You know, it's basically, you look this way with 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. And I'm like, oh, then how come you were saying, you know, you have to go into seclusion for 90 days to get ripped for Thor, right? But anyway, let's not go there. But people want the magic. You know, you can look this way, and, you know, don't you love those when you see those? You don't have to change your diet. You don't have to exercise. The fat will melt away. You know, and come on, everybody on this call, even if you know you're bullshit, you're thinking, will it work for me? Could it be true? Is there a secret that I don't know about? And it's only 20 bucks, right? Whatever, if it's a low entry, you're going to, you know, get rid of all the wrinkles, right? Like, you know, I was thinking that the other day watching TV, and they're showing all these anti-wrinkle creams. Even my wife pointed out, these bitches are all in their 20s. What are they doing with a wrinkle cream? You know, yeah, it's just like kind of funny. But yeah, we want to believe. So think of that when you're doing your ads. And always remember, what is your target market? What do they want? Right? Not what you want to sell. What do they want? This is one of my big problems, right? What do they want, right? And unfortunately, as we see in the world, especially here in America and Canada and parts of the world, people really don't want the truth, right? You know, yeah, you can look that way, work out, you know, 45 minutes a day, watch your diet, make sure you're always in a caloric negative state for the next 60 days. People don't want that. You know, they want to take go low and drop the weight, you know, And so yeah, so but what does your clientele want? What's your I think the term is avatar. When you create, who's your target? What do they really want? And a lot of you see me, I'm relaunching a program, kind of rebranding it, if you will. Control the booze, and then right after that, control the food. And what do the people want that might be drinking too much, especially right now, given the world as it is right now, not the way I still want to see it. They want to control their booze, right? They want to drink less. They may not want to stop. They want to drink less. Really what they want is to drink and have no negative affect. They don't want their wife, husband, boss yelling at them. But still, that's what they want. They want to control it, to be in control, and so, and then you can, once you get them engaged, whether it's in your Facebook and the stuff that we're doing, then you can do whatever you need to do, right? And begin to take them down the path that they need to go. But first they have to be interested, and that part hasn't changed in the 30s, 40, almost 35 years I've been doing this, Still remember the most successful ad I ever wrote, and it would still work today. Grandma dumps 45 painful pounds. I was bad, miserable. I hated myself. I saw myself in the mirror and wanted to puke. That was like right the first. And then I discovered Suncoast hypnosis and, right? But the headline got people's attention in my target market, which was here in Florida, which was, grandmothers, right? Because it's Florida, and they want to lose weight. I wanted to be the grandmother that could play with. Another one was I wanted to be the grandmother that could play with the kids. That was a good one. That the phone got ringing, right? Not just things like that, right? So what does your target market want, right? And again, we fall into the paradox of knowledge because we have all this information. We start thinking this is what the people want. And again, I'm very guilty of this. No, they just want the answers. They want the quick, down, dirty answer. Can't you do something to help me, drink less? Stop after 2, whatever it happens to be. So yeah, so what does your target want, right? That's how you prospect. First of all, figure it out. Who are you trying to sell to? What are you selling to? What do they want? And then invite them, and then that's up to you, how you're going to, people are, I'm not sure yet. I'll have to look into this, but some people still want to get you on a discovery call. Let's get you on a discovery call, or what else do they call them? Exploratory call, right? Whatever it happens to be, right? And then, it's a 20-minute sales pitch, which is fine. I've been on a lot of them because if they sound good, I'll jump in and see what it's about, right? Some just take you right to whatever it is they're trying to sell you, right? Or it looks like, and Bruce might know, and some other people, it looks like they're kind of veering into more automation. Click here, and then here's the video, or the video that would be basically what the discovery call would go through without tying my time up or someone else's time. And then here's the offer. It's becoming more and more automated. At least it seems that way, right? And then they'll get you on the discovery call for the real, here's the $1,000 program they can do just from, here's the videos, here's the info, And then, hey, if you want more, get on the discovery call. Then you start thinking, this is the $10,000 program they're going to pitch to you, right? Or $5,000, right? Because that's always my big question with some of these guys that say they're so rich. Why do they want to jump on a call for 20 or 30 minutes for a $1,000 program? How busy can they be? Just a question, I wonder, right? But then maybe they're getting you in the system. There's a lot of really good, slick stuff out there. So make sure again, let people know what you're doing. What are you interested in? Who's your avatar, right? What is your target market? And then don't limit it just to that, but that is your, that's your avatar. And then kind of spin off from that and and then be open to change. The other thing, at least I found, is it will change as soon as you hit the ground running. You might be surprised, but if you're still gonna, don't do the Blockbuster video, right? I'm just gonna build more Blockbuster stores. I'm not gonna buy Netflix, right? The CEO that made that decision. No, we're gonna make 25% more brick and mortar stores. We're not gonna buy Netflix. And of course now Netflix is going into, and we all have a tendency to do that, right? But be flexible and let it take you where it's going to take you. Right? And again, one way to find out what the questions are in your avatar is, or in the people you start talking to, what are they really looking for? Right? We do hypnosis and NLP. We have a different skill set than most of the people. We change people from the inside out. We do this, we do that, without years of therapy, whatever it happens to be, right? So, but what are they looking for? What's the answer? And how can I fill that answer, right? And then lastly, with this, so you got your daily action plan, which we'll talk about in a little bit more in a moment to wrap this up. And making it simple, short, to the point, with a couple of magic things thrown in there. And then, try to develop a regular skill of posting, letting people know what you're going to do, where you're going to be, what you're going to, all that stuff. Try to answer their questions in advance. Try to answer their questions in advance. I always remember I was at it was probably 15 years ago, little internet marketing thing, right? And they were doing some stuff. And they put up this sales letter, right? And it's kind of classic if you've been around that world. But they said, what do you guys think of this? People were picking it apart, right? It had a couple typos. It was kind of ugly. And they actually call it, it's got known as the ugly sales letter, right? And the guy said, yeah, but you know what? That thing made like $12 million. And then they showed a different version of it that was all pretty. And they go, this thing made squat, right? So yeah, you can make I remember when I was doing, God, now I'll date myself, newspaper ads, the guy that trained me, who also changed Scott McFall and a few other people, would say, the last person you listen to is the sales rep for the newspaper company. Right? Because first of all, I remember one of that grandmother ad, I can't let you run that. It's got, there's not enough white space. I'm like, I'm not paying for fucking white space. I want as many words on that page. I want people to take out a magnifying glass, right? Because then they're interested. If they're not, if you're not a fat grandma, you're not looking at anything on that ad, right? So anyway, you want to do what works. So again, when you see ads on your Facebook feed, popping up in Google, all these things, if you see them consistently, then you begin to know they must be working. Or the person, if it's a person that knows how to internet market, they're not going to keep spinning that ad up. It'll stay up. I think Bruce said like maybe a few days, and if it's not getting the hits and the things, they're just, because the internet, everything's instant. They get the numbers right away, right? And so yeah, so look at the ones that work in your genre, if in that in whatever it is you're doing, and then duplicate it, if you will, jazz it up with hypnosis and NLP, and and then look into that. The last thing with that too is it's always better if you get some kind of accountability with people, either a group of people or another person, right? Because all the research says if you have a group that you're responsible to or a person, you're much more likely to succeed. Because I remember reading a long time ago, and this comes from the addiction world, that a person that is in therapy or regularly goes to a 12-step meeting, I forget how much more likely they are to succeed because they have outside of a buffer, right? That you're responsible to, right? Whether it's your therapist or the group that you go to. If you go to the 12-step group pretty regularly, you get that accountability factor, right? And again, pick that group carefully. Who are you want to hang around with, right? Because it was Bob Proctor that said, if he could guess, if he knows the net worth of the 4 or 5 people you hang out with, he could probably guess your net worth, right? And I don't know if that's ever been tested, but I know that it seems to be true. Successful people hang out with successful people, right? If you want to be in shape, you need to hang out with in shape people. People can make fun of, why do you go to a health club? Well, I want to go to people, I want to see people that exercise, right? If you want to, if you want to be married, happily married, hang at least somewhere in your world, be around other married couples, right? That are semi-happy, right? Realistically happy is what I would say. My wife has a 357 and she's getting to be a pretty good shot. So I'm very careful about what I say and how I say it, right? So yeah, so, get that accountability with another group. And of course, the best is to find some kind of mentor, someone that you can, let mentor you, coach you, whatever term it is, right? And then rely on their expertise, right? At least in the area that you want. And you can have more than one mentor, right? And you can outgrow, this is why I argue with some people, you can easily outgrow a mentor, right? You'll get to the point, at least the way, and there's a book called Mastery by Green. It's really a good book that he wrote for 48 Laws of Power, right? But in Mastery, he talks about, like, how do you become a master of something? Well, throughout history, you apprenticed, if you will, under a master. And that was usually 3 to 5 years, right? And let's use the Karate Kid analogy. If after that time you weren't a peer, you need a different master. You need someone else that can help take you to the next level, right? And a true master, I think it was Green that said, his job is to make you a peer, right? And I know in the martial arts world, that's after you get your black belt, maybe your second degree, now go out and do what you need to do. You could train by yourself, right? And not that you might not find other people to mentor you in other areas, right? And I'm always a firm believer in finding a mentor that stays in his lane, right? If I want a business mentor, and my business mentor is having some health challenges now. One of them is Elson Eldridge, somebody who's met him over the years. He stays in his lane. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to talk about your marriage. Doesn't want to talk about your physical training or whatever it is. This is what I do. This is how I can help you, and I don't help you over here. Because that's more. Then you don't have a mentor. You have a guru. And I don't necessarily want a guru. I want a mentor in these things, right? I've got Elson in the business world. A guy named Jeff Cavalier in the physical training. He runs AthleanX, right? The science behind exercise. I love that idea, the science behind whatever he's doing. And that's why I'm modeling that in the science of how to control your drinking. This is the science behind it. This is how it works in your neurology and this and that and stuff. So yeah, get a mentor, a coach, right? And everyone forgets, the most successful personal development guy in history, Mr. Anthony Robbins. You could argue. I said that once. They go, "Oh, it's Bob Proctor." I go, "Did Bob Proctor ever have 400,000 people on a 4-day webinar every day? 400,000 people he had on that. So just think, if he only had a 1% upsell into his mastery program, just big money. Yes, it was a free program, but 400,000 people, right? It cost him $1 million to rewire where he's doing his webinars, right? Over on the other coast of Florida, over there by Bruce, right? But he had several coaches and mentors over the year in the business side. They were mostly venture capitalists. And if you really study Tony Robbins' phenomenon, is when he got into venture capitalism and he bought Twin Labs, Quest bars, the Quest, protein drinks, Quest bars. Several other companies basically got out of bankruptcy, right, and helped rebuild them, right? That's how he's a billionaire. It's not, his NLP and coaching and those seminars is, the last time I heard him say, it doesn't even really click on his overall what he's doing. He just likes doing it, right? And he's looking for those people that want to invest that $1 million for the private coaching sessions, or that will pony up the $100,000. I think it's still $100,000 if you have that lying around and you want to join his inner circle, his platinum partnership, right? It's $100,000 a year, and that doesn't get you anything but platinum. You get into his events for free, but you still have, your airfare, your hotel, and all that good stuff when he's doing live events. But and now I think he's doing his model. Talk about brilliant. He's taking his model, since he has all these online things, he's going to do fewer and fewer live things. And then eventually the live things will only be for his platinum partners. Right? So would it be more cost effective to be in front of a group of 1,000 people that are willing to spend $100,000 a year? Easily, effortlessly, just that kind of people? Or does he want to be in front of 10,000 people that had to scrape together the $300 to get into the seminar? It's brilliant marketing, right? So get a coach, a mentor. He had those guys that did, one was the head of Disney, and then several venture capitalists. John Odick, and one of his mentors, did business with Tony Robbins and changed his business model. He was open to change his business model, right? And he was very successful. This was in the early 2000s. He was the biggest thing going, but he had to do live seminars constantly and the infomercials and all that, right? And now if you think about it, you haven't seen him on an infomercial or very many TV shows in how long? Right? He doesn't need to do it, right? So anyway, be open to getting a coach or a mentor that, in my opinion, stays in their lane, can help coach you up on what you need and that. So that's the business thing. Now, when it comes to your daily action plan, I'm going to do a technique in a moment. I'll do a technique. Yes, John, I will do a technique. If you think about like the 4 things you want to accomplish, 4 things you want to accomplish today or tomorrow, make sure that one of those 4 things is, if you could imagine you becoming like a beacon wherever you happen to be. I'm in Little Venice, Florida, so I could picture the state of Florida, there, and Venice is on the Gulf side over here. If you could imagine being where you are right now, and it's kind of like, what's the term I want? You're going to send out like radio signals out into the universe, right? Like a sonar ping. It's just going to go out into the surrounding area, right? And it's going to resonate with the people you need to resonate with, right? If I'm trying to control the booze or control the food, those 2 things, that's a great market. I like working that. I've been doing it forever. I love the change work with people. It's a blast, things like that. That's the people I would like to resonate with, right? So if you could imagine just sending that out there, right? I learned this years ago, like, especially on the day I would have a newspaper ad run, when I'd be getting up that morning, I would visualize or imagine, not visualize, but imagine like the people that need to see that ad will see that ad, right? Because I ran the ads like once a week, half page, full page ads. And I remember my unofficial test, unofficial research, Ms. Dr. Shelley, unofficial research would say, the days I did that, the phone rang more with people that really were interested, you know, because it's one of the, I think that phenomenon works. If you get into the law of attraction and this and that, you know, you're sending it out there that let this resonate with the people it needs to resonate with, you know, because I don't think any of us, especially in our field, want to work with people that don't resonate with us, right? You know, in Michelle's case, I don't think she loves working with people that have been in bad, we'll just say bad situations, but she probably wants people, I'm going to mind read here, that want to make a change, not just want to change their other half, right? I don't want to, you know, I want to help people that are ready to make that step, to give up the food, the bad food, or to give up the booze. Now let's go. So to put that in as one of your 4 that you're going to resonate out, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever, however you're doing it, or if you got to give a talk that day, note to self. Yeah, it's an intention. Thanks, Ralph. I forget those big words. Yes, I'm highly educated and I speak for a living. Yeah, that you want to send that out there, right? In every way that you can, and have some fun with it, right? So that could be one of your 4s, like, boom, I want this to happen today, right? Or if you're going to be giving a talk, whether it's at a local business function or like Michelle will be speaking at NGH this weekend. Imagine there'll be a couple people in the group, you know, that want more. You know, maybe not everybody. Some people are there just for casual information, but what if you get 1 or 2 that want more? You know, I didn't do it this year at the last conference, but the year before I did. And when I remembered to do it that day, but I got like 6 people that signed up for different things after I got home, you know, because they were sitting in the 1 hour. So anyway, so put that into your thing. So whatever else you're going to put in there. So like, let's say you're first getting up and you imagine, okay, here's the little 4 things I need to get done today. Yes, you got other things, but I'm gonna do a post. That's pretty easy. We're on Facebook anyway. Do a post, right? Whatever your other action, I'm going to exercise, right? I'm going to return some calls, right? Mine would be, I'm gonna do this audition. Those are things I want to get done today. That's it. And I got a pack. I could throw that in there. And I know that's a slam dunk because I'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, walking out the door to go to the airport. I better be packed. So those are that. So then imagine you're going to sit there and imagine that, including sending out with your post, let the people see this that need to see this, you know, that need to see it, that want and need, and just send that out there. Okay. And then well, we'll do the technique in a moment, but that's it. So you could do it, you could write it, you know, a lot of people write it down, make it easy, make it fast, and be flexible, put in some flexibility in your plan. So let me just do the exercise. Okay. So take a deep breath. Just think about a quick action plan for you, whatever it is. Just think of that. Like 4 things, no more than 4. Let's keep it simple, right? And then now close your eyes, take a deep breath. And now imagine after this class is over, since we're doing it in class, when you click offline, you're going to start knocking off those action plans, whatever it is. You're going to make a post. You're going to do this. You're going to do the things you said you were going to do. See it all the way through till when you go to bed tonight. And now what I want you to do is take a deep breath and step in and see that movie, if you will, from the inside, including sending out that affirmation to the universe, that being out into the universe, that people that want and need what you have will be attracted to it via whichever mode you're using to get that out there. Right? And now run it all the way through. See, hear, and feel yourself doing it. Think how good you feel. See what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel. If at the end of the day, when you're going to bed, yes, I knocked out my entire 4-thing action plan. I made a contact with a person I needed to. I did something I needed to do. Right? I'm ready. And how good that makes you feel at the end of the day, because you did it, that sense of accomplishment. Now bring that feeling back into where you are right now, knowing that to get those feelings throughout the day, all you need to do is complete that plan. So at the end of the day, you'll have that good feeling and it'll reverberate through time. Good. Now take a deep breath, open your eyes. That's what I call speed levering or whatever. Try to, right? It's pretty cool. So kind of do those things, be open to it. One of the things I'm thinking of doing after this conference and a couple of things is opening up a small mentorship group again, low entry, just, off-label stuff, as they would call it, stuff only do for the mentoring group, like I used to do a few years ago. Billy remembers that. That was a few years ago. I had a little group and then, and got like some of the information I would normally share to everybody. I'm only going to share with the group for a while. I'm working on that plan now. If you're interested, let me know. But it's wonderful stuff. So yeah, do the action plan, do this, try that little exercise in the morning when you're getting up. That's when it's most effective for me. And then see at the end of the day, like, did your plan fall together the way you thought it would? Good example would be, I kind of did this morning and we had a couple things to do, my wife and I. I knew we had to go to the vet because we had to take the dog to the vet, puppy to the vet, right? So I could, okay, I know we're going to go out there to the vet. I wanted to get a workout in, which would make it tight, going to do what I wanted to do, going to the vet and then working out and then coming here. And I wanted to get a haircut, right? Because for the conference, right? Because my hair grows quick, Billy. My hair grows quick and I have to thin it out, Billy. I have to thin. Yeah, Billy's over there. Oh yeah, great. Yeah. So anyway, so that was, and then pack, and I know I got to pack, right? And I'm going to do a couple of posts, right? For the addiction thing, for the control the booze. All right. Well, those I haven't done yet. But then, we took the dog to the vet. That went a lot quicker than I thought. Come home. I went and worked out. As I was leaving the workout, I said, I'm going to check, see if I can get in to get a haircut. Because this is Florida. Old guys get their haircut like six times a month or something because they got nothing else to do. You can't get in. But it was like there was an opening, right? So I just clicked on getting my little thing and just drove over, got my hair cut, came back, and now, and I knew I was going to do this talk, so if I knock out the rest of my packing, which I will have to do, and I do the posts, those good feelings of accomplishing and some of it just falls into place. That the haircut fell into place. Another thing seems to be falling into place. Some stuff I ordered got here when I needed it, so I could take it on my trip. Yay! All these little things. So I'll give that credit to doing the technique. So let me stop the recording.